All right.
You got dang right, all right. We the champs.
We are the champs. That's right, baby. We're coming down to the committee, and we're bringing a 13-0 record. And I'm telling you right now, you better watch out because we're bringing a fierce defense, led by Jared Verse and Brian Fiske. That's right. I pronounce the E in Fiske.
Braden Fiske.
It's Fiske, my boy.
Fiske.
I love that guy. He's my boy. We're champions. Florida State, 13-0, 16-6 over the Louisville Cardinals.
We did it, man. We did it.
Defense in a game where passing was not there.
Nobody's throwing the ball.
50 yards from Brock Glenn, the true freshman walk-on. And yet you still win this game by 10 points.
He's actually a scholarship player.
Yeah.
Though he played like a walk-on.
Yes.
At times.
Did I say he was a walk-on?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You did.
I did.
You did.
He did. He did play like he was a walk-on at times. But Florida State caps off a championship season.
13-0, baby.
They did it for 13.
Yeah, they did.
13-0. And they locked up a spot in the playoff, right? Right?
I mean, if this was a legitimate sport, you god dang right.
Oh my God. I don't even want to go there. We need to celebrate this
Not tonight.
championship.
Not going there tonight.
It's a double championship in Tallahassee as the Rattlers
City of champs, man.
with the 35-14 win over Prairie View A&M 2 in a game that was delayed a couple times.
Yeah, they played in
the
the
SWAC
monsoon
champions.
here in the
So the SWAC and the ACC champions reside right here in Tallahassee.
combined record of 25-1. Man, that's some dominance. Nowhere else in America.
13-0 for the
Ladies and
Noles.
gentlemen, 12-1 SWAC champs for
Man, what
A&M.
an effort by the defense.
Oh man, yeah.
Right? I mean,
Right?
goodness
Yeah, you're
gracious. What an effort by the defense.
They picked the best game to play their best game.
Oh my gosh. This is not a bad Louisville team. This team has playmakers. This team can run the ball. They can move the ball.
No,
And they just answered every single call.
yeah,
Every single one. Flying colors.
put in some really tough spots too. I mean that that interception in the end zone,
Right after the punt block.
Yeah.
Just when every time you think, oh, well, there's no more. They can't withstand anymore. They're not getting anything from the quarterback position. I mean anything. But you know what? They luckily didn't turn it over. He tried to a couple times.
Yeah, he really did.
I mean,
man.
you could.
Some of the decisions were just. That's why he's a true freshman.
Right. I mean, there was some easy looks, I thought. I look back at it, and there was some throw. He was afraid to pull the trigger.
Yeah, he
on
just
some easy throws I thought he had. And but
that's what you worry about.
the big drive came when they went to the Wildcat, which I was asking them to just stay with it for the rest of the half.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Why not?
I mean, you're not going to go negative, and you're not going to give anything up with the way this defense was playing.
Yeah,
It's another wrinkle. Toa Philly was running it really good. I mean, he was letting those blocks line up, and bam, he hit the hole. That drive, that one run was so huge.
Yeah, that sequence, those two plays, he won the MVP because of that.
Right.
He had a few nice little runs there in the fourth quarter that were huge. They flipped field position, got us in field position for a field goal. Man, you're right. But outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot. Trey Benson started cooking a little bit there in the fourth.
Yeah.
But that was it, man. You weren't going to get anything from the
In the Big Ten, this would be a gritty.
Yeah. It's amazing how the narrative is it's just regional and really production based, man. Like you look at the SEC, you look at the Big Ten, and they got an entire network behind them.
Well, we're gonna get there.
Yeah, we will.
But the ACC champs for Florida State, and
that's right.
I can't say enough about the defense performance. When your quarterback goes 8 of 21 for 55 yards, that's it.
Yeah, I mean
he had one good run that got called back for a holding, and he didn't do anything on the ground.
No, he didn't get you much on the ground. Got sacked.
But he didn't turn the ball over. Toafili, 10 carries, 118 yards, and a touchdown. Trey Benson, 18 carries, 67 yards. It looked like he almost broke one there at the end.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman, 4 catches, 19 yards. Johnny Wills. I mean, just to eliminate your passing game and still win.
I will say he had some drops.
Yeah, there was another drop by Keon. That was a big drop.
You can see why he was a recruit. Why?
Yeah, he's
got
still
an arm.
Yeah, you can see.
This was the danger with starting a true freshman. You know, a guy that's never started a football game at college level before.
Right.
They kept throwing the ball at times when it was just clearly not going to work. And I get it. You want to, when you're in the first quarter, you don't want to immediately go to one-dimensional. Even though you're right, man, it really looked like that. Why not? Defense is playing where you're going to shut them down. That's just.
I like the way just mano, get an extra blocker in there. Maybe see some more wrinkles there. But just an absolute gutty performance by that defensive line and Brandon Fiske and Jared Verse. Those two guys.
Really, Pat Payton.
Pat Payton as well, yeah.
Stepped up. Farmer.
The defensive line's been just
Farmer
amazing.
was right there. They are.
Linebackers.
They're going to get Daryl Jackson. Added to him. So
right. That's a point huge. Right there. So you're going to take into effect the injury of quarterback. What about the addition at what it is already a championship level defense?
Yeah, you're getting another 6'6", 330-pound interior guy that just already to that rotation of guys that are going to play on Sunday. He's another one.
Right. FAMU was victorious today. SWAC championship. Snake Bit, FAMU contributor Al was at the game. He was in the locker room with the team. We have some more footage and stuff, so keep it locked for that. But Florida State, 16-6. How impressed were you by this defense? Every level played lights out.
Yeah, linebackers, Deloach. But Deloach has been doing it all season.
Yeah.
Doing really as well. And all,
read
your starting
play.
three, but yeah. Man, the entire defense, you saw a lot less of the
corner.
Yeah, Renardo Green.
He's been awesome all year. Just
and even Thomas, man. Thrash shook him nasty one time, but that was it.
Right.
They did not.
They didn't let him. That's the big play guy.
Yeah, and you could tell
that one
just
slant
the whole game that Jack Plummer was
Renardo Green made the play.
Yeah,
and they had that slant because he made a good move. He just made it. That was an NFL play.
Yep.
Man, what a game!
It was an elite performance by the defense.
All right, so let's go
from Adam Fuller on
really
down to
It really was.
Shaheem on that one run play took a bad angle. Other than that, I don't think they would have. It was
so impressive to have that drive. I think they should have ran more of it. And I know you can't assume that you want to have confidence in your guy. I'm sure they saw a lot better in practice of what he could do. But man.
Yeah, and I'm sure they figured after running the Wildcat and scoring that it would take a little bit of
screenplay at the end there. I don't know about that. I just thought to make them show you that they can stop it. Yeah, and they should have ran it a little more, knowing that hey, we're not really going to get anything in the passing game, so let's just get an extra blocker, maybe throw that out a couple times. But that's just nitpicking.
Yeah,
when you won with a true freshman quarterback who's not going to be playing. Tate Rodemaker is going to be back in.
That's the thing that. But father, you got to remember, like, he was not supposed to start until all of a sudden Sunday, Rosenberger shows up with.
You're going in.
So he'll be going back in the playoff. Mike Norvell will be quick to look down and let him know.
The next game, Florida State.
Warm up. You're going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, based on the Florida game you saw and you want to, the backup, that just shows you the backup quarterback popularity. It's always like, oh, this next guy, he's going to debut and he's going to be the start of this new dynasty and he's going to be, have this
exactly
magic
now
start. But
you look
then you
back
realize.
and imagine Brock Lynn actually starting down there in the swamp. Like,
right.
It would have been a nightmare.
How important that position is, but how gritty this team is, and it shows you how important how another side of the ball can step up.
Yeah, I mean,
the defense played lockdown.
Every single player on that defense just told, we're not losing to Louisville.
They got him that drive, and they got him that running touchdown. That was enough.
Yeah.
What a performance!
It's back to back.
What do you do?
Back to back games where the defense has just, verse especially, where he's just taken over. Throwing offensive linemen into the quarterback.
Right.
It's just
play to win the game. Play to win the game. What do you keep score for?
That's what I'm saying.
Other teams had games in the season they lost, and you have 3 teams right now that are undefeated.
Who wants to face this defense in the
That's
playoff?
Right.
I hear a lot of talk. Yeah, you're right, man.
Michigan,
everybody talking about
Washington, Florida State. Let's get there.
Let's get there.
Those are your 3 undefeated teams.
You rank them 1, 2, 3,
1,
and then
2,
you decide.
3. That's it.
You decide which team's going to be put at number 4.
Well, you know what? We're using that eye test and all that other stuff when the win-loss record is equal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are we freaking doing?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to go back to let's go back to the football, like you don't go to the Super Bowl or you go to the playoffs or say when Jeff Hostetler leads the Giants to a Super Bowl, but the Bills had the number 1 offense in the league and they missed a field goal. Well, if we were going to give out the championship, Buffalo controlled the game and they
they had the best team.
No,
right?
you play to win the game.
They looked and
you cannot deny a chance to this team, this defense, this coaching staff. They deserve it.
Yeah,
and I think with the way that defense is playing,
I think that
they are one of the 4 best.
Yeah,
teams.
your boy Booger had it right, man. Like, there's a lot of emphasis put on how you look today, instead of how you've looked all season.
Right. It should be how you looked all season.
Yeah.
And it should matter.
Well, and the thing
when you lose a game.
The eyeball test told you that Oregon was going to crush Washington.
Right.
Right. They've been crushing everybody.
Right.
Washington's been skating by, just flirting with disaster.
The eyeball test.
And it's not like they had 2, 3, a month to get ready to play Oregon. It was all right.
So the committee we'll see if there's corporate influence, which the SEC, they can't leave them out. Well,
yeah, the cynic in me thinks obviously there's going to be some.
If this was like a qualifying event, where things were valued like wins and losses, they shouldn't go in.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you have 3 undefeated teams, now the debate is Texas, Alabama. You're arguing over 1 spot.
Yeah, you're arguing over 1 spot.
They're including Florida State.
Does the head-to-head
into this without including Washington or Michigan? What makes them?
Well, because their quarterback's still there.
That's true.
That's it. That's the only reason.
But they had 2 games and they won both of them.
Right.
But they covered the spread in both of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you're not looking at Michigan or Washington and questioning them because they're their star player or Michael Penix isn't hurt and whoever.
In Ohio State, when they did it, they had a loss, by the way.
Yeah, that's the thing. People, that's revisionist history.
They were all new.
They were taking Ohio State and comparing them to Baylor and TCU, who also had a loss. It was for that 4th spot.
Right. There's something about going undefeated.
Yeah,
and I don't want to hear that they played 2 out of conference games against the SEC. The SEC and the ACC this year. And the ACC was better.
Yeah,
and head to head.
Yeah.
So this SEC narrative is something that's been developed over accumulation of years. If you look at it for just this year, Big 12 beat them.
Right.
Texas
it's
and
funny,
Alabama
man.
played this season.
Do you leave?
They played this season.
Do you leave Nick Saban out of the playoffs?
He's not a. Yes.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. Like, are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
If this sport has any legitimacy left, then yes.
You have to. If you don't, unless you head to head doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if that's
winning games.
That's the thing. And for me, if head to head's not going to matter, then
Michigan conference championship
Going
undefeated.
undefeated
Washington conference championship undefeated. Florida State conference championship undefeated. Nobody else can match that.
Yeah.
So, but like if they're the best, what the fuck are we doing with this best shit?
Well, it's
Like, well, I could.
it's how you look when you're playing games against teams that aren't, And I get it, man. Alabama winning and beat Georgia. That's why I understand it's going to be really hard to leave.
That was a huge win. I mean, Kirby Smart's telling you that you shouldn't leave Georgia out. Of course, that's what they're going to say.
Yeah,
if you look, if we're not asking, well, then let's just go to the scouts. Then let's just get in a beauty pageant. Let's put on our shorts and let's see who's got the strongest players. Let's flex and see who has most bench press, and let's take out all the fun and what makes this sport great.
Exactly.
It's just sometimes, you know what? It comes down to that.
You got to play the game.
You got to play the game, and tell that to what is it? 03 Auburn, were they undefeated?
Yeah.
They didn't. Nobody remembers them. Nobody. So don't give me that. And if they would have had a playoff, then they would have been in. So like this is why you have a playoff. So because there's 3 undefeated teams here, right? What if there was only a national championship?
Exactly.
You would have an undefeated team being left out.
You'd have Florida State
being left out. They would already, but because of a quarterback.
Yep.
And that's not.
We got to play off like that. That's the thing. Like we
play
had
to win the game.
Yeah.
You
that's
play
why you
to
made
win. You
the
keep
playoff.
Score. And I'm all for like using the comparisons when it's equal. But you're set forth the schedule, which you played in, which is legitimate compared to anybody else. Look how many bowl teams the ACC put out this year.
Yeah.
I mean, look what they did head to head. It's just looking at it and like the matchup was so sexy of Alabama and Georgia and what they are and recruiting and what they get. But you know what? They played in a game and the team that had already lost won.
Yeah, I mean it sucks for the SEC. It sucks for Georgia.
We'll find out I just don't know how
but I mean that can happen, man. Sometimes you don't do enough in the regular season other than just, allow yourself to have the opportunity in the title game. And then you lost to Alabama,
beauty
so
contest.
Now you got to play in the Orange Bowl.
Then it is a beauty contest.
Yeah.
If Florida State doesn't make it, it's a beauty contest. It's not a sport. It's not football anymore.
Yeah.
The sport is great because there's stories that you don't expect because the Goliaths don't make it all the time. Because the stone hit.
What I'm saying is
this team answered the bell all year.
What if
doesn't matter how it looks.
What if they had just put out there that Jordan Travis was going to be back for the playoff?
Right.
Would that have what?
It's not going to change what some people say because they're just going to always push it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like why? I don't know.
It's a year too late. With a 12-team playoff, couldn't come at a worse time for the SEC.
Yep.
They needed it this year.
I think they
needed Texas in there.
It's time for you guys to just sit this one out, man.
Because look at it. All right, so if Texas was in the SEC this year and it was up to those two, it wouldn't be anything. They would just play. All right, just put Texas in.
Well, it wouldn't.
They would have played again.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
Wouldn't have happened because they would.
One of them wouldn't have had the opportunity.
Right. Alabama wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So they would have never had a chance. And let's go back. Let's go back to the Auburn game last week.
Yeah, that's how I
when
look
you're
at
down to a 4th and 31. They deserved it. There's no fluke. There's no fluke there. It's Auburn, and it's tough. And I know it is, but
that kind of imagine.
Florida State never came down to that type of game.
Yeah, and they didn't even have their quarterback.
Right. They didn't even have their starting quarterback. They're getting their second string quarterback. They'll have that guy back. So this best and subjective of who you want to do is bull crap. You play to win the game, and when you're Lining it up, there's 3 undefeated teams. The argument is for 1. You want to put Alabama over Texas? I don't know what you're going to tell Texas head to head, you know. But it's even more egregious to have an undefeated team who doesn't have a loss get jumped by a team that has a loss.
Yeah, and let's look at it like that. I mean, Texas and Alabama are very soon, next year they're going to be in the same conference.
Right.
So, let's just look at it. If you had to pick between the two, like who's going to play Georgia, let's say they were in the same conference this year, you'd have to choose between one of them who's going to go and play Georgia in the title game.
Right.
It would come down to Texas. So that should be what you do for the playoff. Texas would have had them head-to-head if they were in the same conference.
Someone's going to be upset.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like you're right now that Florida State's just like cheering.
Who do you think you are? I am.
I mean, come on. We just won.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? Minnie, I am undefeated. I am the champion of the ACC. It's funny. Clemson would have never. If it was Clemson,
Oh God, no.
if they were undefeated, they'd be shoo-in, right? Let's just. I don't know. It's not even worth getting.
I mean, they'd have. Dabo would have been on TV a lot more politics.
Yeah, and they would have had to win for another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mike Norvell was asked, and he said the right thing. He didn't say anything about it until the end of the game.
Yeah,
and he answered, he's like, this team's undefeated. Those other teams lost. Boom. Out of here.
Exactly. He's not a clown show like Dabo is.
There's coaches on the committee that can not let the rankings come out without an undefeated team.
Yeah,
it's never happened before. You can't do this. We're going to 12 next year.
Yeah, I hate it for you, Nick, but
This will go on. This will be the big off-season story going into the new year. Finally, we have a system that's going to keep, give everyone a chance. But you had your chance this year. It just never had a year where there were so many undefeated teams. So we're going to punish an undefeated team now because they didn't pass our eye test. They didn't look good enough in the dress or whatever. Then what are we doing here? Let's run down the runway and let's make it what it is. It's just a freaking beauty pageant.
Who do you think you are? I am.
This ain't no beauty pageant. This is compete.
Yeah.
Compete.
Right.
Like what the hell are we doing out there?
Right.
It's great, man. If you guys want, if we had a loss, then I would, if it.
What do you think's gonna happen?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably end up getting screwed, man.
I'm not surprised that you say that.
But I don't care right now. Like
I know.
just.
This is a championship.
I think the sport in and of itself has just moved into a different
commercial.
Yeah, it's all media. They don't want Florida State in because
the matchup
for some reason. Yeah.
Jordan. I really think it's just because JT's out. Yeah. Jordan Travis is in. They can push that. He'd be in New York. They would be able to have ratings.
Sure,
but it doesn't matter.
There's a whole lot of defensive
Florida State's
players
still
they got that they can.
Jared Verse.
Yeah.
Fiske.
That defense,
Farmer.
man. Plenty. That whole secondary.
Ray. Green. Renardo Green. Dent. Hakeem Dent. All playing just great games.
Yeah. I mean,
teamwork.
That's a high-powered
special teams
passing attack. Brian Brom
gets the punt blocked right there, and the defense comes out and gets the interception.
That's what I'm saying. How many defenses in the country?
There's
2, 3. You think Alabama, Georgia?
7 sacks.
7 sacks.
7 sacks when you had to have it. Come on now. What are we doing here? Playing to win the game.
Yeah.
Come on. You play to win the game.
Yeah, you play to win the game.
What are we doing?
Play to win the game.
So what is your top 4?
Well, I just want to point out that that's another quarterback that the Florida State defense held under 50%.
Dude, number one defense in terms of quarterback.
Yep. I don't know how many straight weeks that is that they've held a guy under 40 or under 50%, but
it just looked heroic. The defensive effort, it looked.
Their running game, 2.3 yards a carry.
Right.
Like that's what they hung their hat
Louisville's a good team. They averaged 33 points a game throughout the season.
Jawar Jordan was the first team
all ACC running back.
Held him to a career low 3.7 yards.
Okay.
Like that.
This is they're just picking and choosing because the quarterback's such a polarizing position. But you saw how a team can unite and step up. And this defense has done nothing but that. Just took it to another level.
Yeah,
They really have. Fitzgerald missed one, but he hit a clutch field goal as well.
Yeah, he hit the two that.
Good
that
season
really
for
needed.
Fitzgerald, man. Good comeback season for him.
Yeah.
There was, because he was an Achilles heel at one point. You would look at him because he was so inconsistent. But he was consistent this year. Good season.
All
for
season,
Brian
he really
Fitzgerald.
was. It was, that was a huge question mark
Right.
going into the season, or
Especially
going into
those
the
mid-range field goals. He would struggle with those. And he hit that 33-yarder at the end, which was...
offseason. Oh, it was so nice watching it go through.
Yeah, it really was.
Just
So
that
your-
defensive performance, it goes up there with some of the glory years. So to speak. Teams that did win national titles.
Right.
That was
This
just
defense
insane.
is as good as any in the country.
It is. They played poor at times, but there was a lot of rotation going on all season. Guys getting snaps, different. You put the starting 11 out there,
Right.
and it's good luck, man.
All right.
We had to go.
We got to get on out of here, but we got a few
I'll tell you
minutes.
what, I can't believe dude. I did not see Alabama beating Georgia like that.
No. They controlled the game.
Yeah,
And credit to Alabama, they were the last team to beat Georgia. 20,
Yeah, I mean, that's why
29,
he's-
can't get over 29. The last two teams to get to 29 lost.
that's why he's the best, man. He's but he probably should have
Yep.
beat Texas at home, Nick.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, what
Yeah.
you're going to politic for your team, but any coach was going to tell you that. I mean,
Yeah, and I didn't think that Georgia could lose the game and possibly lose a spot, but I really do think now that you can't put them in.
you can't.
Can't.
You can't. The SEC's
Yeah.
going to get one, if none. They might get, and if they get one, there's going to be a huge argument about Texas beat them, and they're going to get left out. Or, God forbid,
or
Florida
leave
State
Florida
gets
State
let
out.
out.
Yeah,
and then that's going to be ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there's going to
then
be a
you're
lot
just
of
like,
angry people. But whatever, ACC champs,
Yeah.
13-0, that's never going to be taken away.
Nah, you got a trophy, you got a ring.
You got a
This
ring.
is the school that has been, the program's been looking for that for a long time.
Right.
You know?
So your top four, if there's sane committee, Michigan, 1, Washington, 2, Florida State, 3,
And then,
and Texas.
yeah,
4.
yeah.
That's right.
I think
Texas.
that's what you should roll with.
That's your top 4. I picked Texas, Washington, and Florida State in the preseason.
Yeah,
So the only Georgia let me down. If they would have,
Georgia, yeah.
I didn't get Michigan either. But I think Texas is your 4 seed.
Yeah, I
Plain-
think that's how
plain
it should
Michigan.
work if everything is.
And then you
is
got Washington versus Florida State in the Sugar Bowl, baby.
in the Sugar Bowl.
But if it's anything other than that, then it's just
It will be, man.
it's
It's
going to be politics and
politics. We want
involved.
we want to be able to sell it. We want to, like Booger said, it's who do we want to see the most? Who do
Well-
we want to see play? Nobody wants to watch.
We'll all be
Rodemaker
watching.
play.
We'll all be watching they'll do the selection tomorrow afternoon, and we'll react to it. And we'll talk to you then, right here on the North Florida Sports Network.
We had to go. Our ride was here. We got a shuttle to our